Hi, I'm Lauren, one of the co-founders of the Dandelion Project.us and parent to 3 young unschooling children. When we first started unschooling our children at home, I had some concerns and questions about how we would schedule our time and allow me to meet the needs of our 3 children and not get kind of caught up in all of the day-to-day tasks like making snacks and cleaning up and bathing. And so we decided to try to use an agile learning tool called a set the week calendar. So today I wanted to describe to you the set the week calendar that we use and show it how it functions for our family. This is our set the week calendar, which is on a large magnetic whiteboard. And I just divided the week Monday through Friday using washi tape. Pretty simple. One of the most important parts of our set the week calendar is what we call the parking lot. And this is a section below the days of the week where we record any interests that the kids have that they have either told us about or we've observed throughout the week. We also write down here any questions the kids ask us. For a long time, our kids were asking us questions during bedtime, like how are batteries made? And so we would jot that down here, and it would become an opportunity for them to schedule on our Set the Week calendar during our Set the Week meeting. So it's just kind of a holding place for questions and interests that we haven't gotten to yet.
Go.
Okay, so here's how we use the Set the Week calendar and how we set it up each week. So first I really go in and put in any set appointments or commitments that we have. So for instance, on Tuesdays, my oldest has a piano lesson, so I pretty much leave this up all the time. On Mondays, she also has a Lego club that she does with a friend, so this pretty much stays up all the time too. Other weeks though, we'll have other commitments to, meet up with friends outside, and so those are things that will pop in right away. One of the things we do before we start filling the rest of the calendar in is we look at the weather for the week and kind of record it down below the Monday through Friday. And this helps us make our outdoor plans, or at least stay informed about what's going on outside in case we that factors into the activities the kids want to get into. But once we have those things in, the kids really can just start stating their interests. What do they want to get into? And that's a conversation we have on Sundays at what we call our Set the Week meeting. And while that sounds very formal for our 8, 5, and 2-year-olds, it's very informal mostly. Lots of times at dinner, I say, what do you want to get into this week? And we start just kind of brainstorming and coming up with ideas and plopping them into days considering weather, other appointments, etc. And if they don't have any ideas of things they want to do that week, I start reading to them the things that we have logged for them in the parking lot, which is the section I discussed just a few minutes ago. And so those are things that we can pull up and add into our daily calendar. So we don't always get to everything that we've listed for each day, especially on Mondays. Mondays tend to be a really full day because the kids are excited to kind of influence the direction of our week at our Set the Week meeting. So Mondays are usually really full. But if the kids get really into something like a dinosaur egg excavation and they really stay in this activity for so long that we never make it to the dollhouse time with Zoe that we'd planned, that's totally fine. Our Set the Week calendar is completely flexible and self-directed by the kids. So if we don't make it to something because they've chosen to get into something else, that's completely fine. It's also okay for them to wake up and say, hey, I intended to play in the dollhouse today, but actually I don't feel like it today, or I'm just not interested. And so when either of those things happen, we can do 2 things. Either we move that activity to the next day if it's something they're still really excited about and want to get into pretty quickly, then we'll move it to the next day. Or we can move it back down to the parking lot. And it can stay in the parking lot until they decide to bring it back up, or at another time, another Set the Week meeting or another day. Or if it stays in the parking lot for so long, I might eventually ask them, is that something you're still interested in? And if they're not, we can erase it. And if they are, it can just stay there until they decide to actually get into it. So you might have noticed in designing this board that I only did Monday through Friday in these larger columns. And that's just because our family likes to keep our weekends kind of flexible and intentionally unscheduled. Though right now we do have Saturday and Sunday on these smaller squares on the right of our board, and that's because our kids are doing a countdown to Christmas right now. And sometimes we do have the weekend marked here if we have specific plans that we're really excited about and the kids want to get it up here. But other times we use these squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller squares over here for different purposes. And I just wanted to kind of share what we use them for. So most recently we had community chores up here. I wanted to get really explicit about my laundry goal one week. But sometimes we are bringing awarenesses around the dinner table about like cleaning and kind of things that need to happen around the house in order for our spaces to feel usable. And so the kids bring these awarenesses, or we do. And sometimes we can set some intentions or make some commitments to each other that we list under community chores. Right now, I succeeded at my laundry chore, so I don't have that here right now, and no one has a chore goal. Another thing we do in these squares sometimes is set intentions. So here I have an intention to use calm down strategies, and that's really because I was losing my temper and wanted to be explicit about this goal that I had and write it up here. Our oldest, our 8-year-old, has a goal, an independence goal here, she calls it, to make her own snacks. Our 5-year-old and my husband don't have intentions written here or chores, and sometimes they do, they just don't happen to for this week. It's something that's directed by the individual and not a requirement at all. But so far we've liked having these 5 squares on the side be kind of flexible. And then at the end of the week, we get to really look back and reflect on all of the rich experiences that we've had as a family that have all been directed and led and initiated by our children. And we also are able to take a snapshot of this calendar every week, and I put it in a file in our computer, and it's something that I'll add to our homeschool portfolio for our end of the year evaluations. The Set the Week calendar has really been such an incredibly useful tool for organizing our unschooling. I hope this description of our Set the Week calendar is useful for you and your family as you're kind of figuring out how to organize your unschooling adventure.